chosen one. Listen carefully. This moment is not random. You are not stumbling across this message by accident, by algorithm, or by coincidence. Heaven has leaned in over your life and whispered, "Now, right now, something in your spirit is waking up, even if your body still feels tired, weak, or heavy. You can feel it deep inside. This is different. You have carried more in your body than most people know. Pain that lingers, fatigue that sleep does not fix, strange tightness, burning, dizziness, pressure, or weakness that makes you silently ask, "What is wrong with me?" Maybe the doctors named it. Maybe they shrugged and said, "We're not sure." Maybe they gave you pills, routines, or told you to just manage it, to get used to it. But your heart knows you were not created just to survive inside a hurting body. There were nights when you stared at the ceiling, wondering if you were overreacting or if something serious was happening inside of you. You tried to function, to show up, to carry responsibilities, to be there for others, while your own strength leaked away like water from a cracked vessel. You smiled when you wanted to cry. You said, "I'm fine," when you were not fine at all. Sometimes you even felt guilty for feeling weak, as if your body's struggle was some kind of failure. But heaven speaks a different word over you, chosen. Not cursed, not forgotten, not broken beyond repair. Chosen. The enemy has attacked your body because your body is designed to carry glory, to host the presence of God, to stand as a living testimony. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is proof of how closely your spirit and your body are connected. When your spirit is under pressure, your body feels it. When your heart is wounded, your muscles tighten, your chest aches, your stomach twists. Right in the middle of this struggle, God steps into your story with a living promise. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 107, verse 20. He sent out his word and healed them. He rescued them from the grave. This is not just ink on a page. It is a spiritual reality that still moves through time and touches physical bodies. That same healing word is reaching for you now. In this very moment, God is saying to you, "Close your eyes for 5 minutes and let me work." 5 minutes where you are not performing. 5 minutes where you are not researching symptoms, not comparing yourself to others, not pretending to be strong. 5 sacred minutes where you let your shoulders drop, your jaw loosen, your breath slow down, and you allow the presence of God to move through you. You might think, can 5 minutes really matter? You are used to long processes, complicated answers, and repeated disappointments. But God's presence is not bound by the same measurements as your clock. One moment under His hand can begin to undo years of stress. One encounter can start to shift deep patterns in your nervous system, your hormones, your immune system, and your thought life. He knows exactly where the pain hides, where the fear sits, where tension lives in your neck, your back, your chest, your stomach. You have prayed before. You have whispered, "Lord, heal me," through tears. You have felt hope rise and then felt it crash when symptoms returned or got worse. Part of you is scared to hope again. Part of you thinks, what if nothing changes? But there is another part of you, a deeper part, that still believes, still reaches, still longs for the touch of God. That is the part heaven is speaking to right now. This moment is not just about relief from pain, it is about identity. God is not only touching the surface of your symptoms, He is going after the roots, the old trauma, the chronic stress, the words that were spoken over you, the inner agreements you made with fear, with sickness, with exhaustion. He is gently but firmly breaking the lie that says, "This is just who you are now." You are standing at a threshold in your story. Behind you is a season where your body felt like a cage, where pain dictated your mood, where fatigue controlled your schedule. In front of you is a path where healing may unfold step by step, but you walk it with a new authority, a new confidence that God is with you, even inside your skin, your muscles, your blood. Healing might begin as peace in your mind, as ease in your breathing, as a sense of rest in your bones, and then spread outward in ways you can see. So, chosen one, take this seriously, not as pressure, but as mercy. This is God saying, "I am giving you a moment. Don't postpone me. Don't push this aside. Don't say, 'Later.' Later has already stolen too many days from you. Your body has waited long enough. Your spirit is ready for this touch. If your heart knows this speaks to you, gently like this message, share it with someone else who needs healing. Subscribe so you stay connected to what God is doing in you. And comment 777 below as your declaration, "Lord, I receive your healing word in my body." You sit there, chosen one, in a body that has told stories no one has fully listened to. Your skin, your bones, your muscles, your heartbeat, they all carry memories that other people cannot see. On the outside, people see you functioning, smiling, showing up. But inside, your body remembers every long night, every doctor's waiting room, every quiet moment you clenched your jaw and said, "I'm okay," even when you weren't. There were seasons when your calendar was filled not with celebrations and rest, but with appointments, tests, scans, waiting, and more waiting. You learned the smell of hospitals, the rhythm of machines, the sound of your own name being called by nurses who only knew you as a file, a case, a number. On the ride home, you would stare out the window, half numb, half flooded with fear, wondering if life would always feel like this. There were those nights when you lay awake, eyes open in the dark, while everyone else slept peacefully. Your mind ran through every symptom, every new ache, every strange sensation in your chest or your stomach or your limbs. You counted the hours until morning, not because you were excited for a new day, but because at least daylight made it easier to pretend. The tears that came at 2 a.m. were not just about pain, they were about the loneliness of suffering in a body that no one else is trapped inside of but you. You have sat in waiting rooms full of people and still felt completely alone. You have walked out of consultations feeling unheard, or brushed aside, or told, "It's just stress," as if your body's cries were an inconvenience. You have felt that sting when someone suggested it was all in your head, as if your pain were imaginary. You have blamed yourself, wondering if you're being dramatic, if you're exaggerating, if maybe you deserve this somehow. Heaven has watched every one of those moments. God has been in every exam room, every hallway, every bathroom where you locked the door just to have a few seconds to breathe. Not one tremor, not one spike of panic, not one hot tear has been ignored. The world may have minimized what you feel, but heaven has never been casual about your suffering. There were days when even simple tasks felt like climbing a mountain, getting dressed, standing too long, walking a short distance. Even concentrating on a conversation drained you more than anyone knew. You've looked in the mirror and seen a face that looks fine enough, but you know what it costs to appear that way. You know the price your body pays for every small victory. In the middle of all of this, a gentle voice calls to you, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. These words are not just for the spiritually tired. They are spoken over aching joints, over racing hearts, over jittery nerves, over exhausted minds that cannot shut down. They are spoken over you. Your weariness is not a flaw. It is evidence that you have been carrying something too heavy for too long. You were never meant to carry this by yourself. You were never meant to shoulder every fear, every worst-case scenario, every doctor's phrase that lodged itself in your chest like a stone. When your body tenses, when your heart pounds, when your muscles ache from constant alertness, heaven sees a child trying to carry a load meant for God. You have wondered, does God really care about my body? Isn't he only interested in my soul? But your body is not a mistake. It is not disposable. It is not separate from your spiritual life. Your body is the place where you live, the place where you feel, the place where you worship, the place where you hold the hands of those you love. God cares about every part of you, spirit, soul, and body. When you felt your chest tighten with anxiety in the middle of the night, he was there. When your legs trembled on the way up the stairs, he was there. When your fingers shook, signing another form at another clinic, he was there. When you swallowed your tears and said, I'm fine, he heard the unspoken cry underneath, Lord, help me. And he has not forgotten. All those nights you whispered, God, where are you? He was closer than your breath. All those mornings you forced yourself out of bed, wishing you could trade your body in for a new one. He was whispering, hold on, I am not done with you. This body, tired as it feels, is still a vessel I will fill with my glory. Right now, he is not shaming you for your weakness. He is honoring you for how long you have endured. He is acknowledging the weight your body has carried, and he is beginning, even now, to lift what you were never meant to bear alone. Chosen one. You know that feeling when your thoughts start circling the drain. It doesn't always happen in public. It shows up in the quiet. When the noise dies down and it's just you, your body, and your thoughts. A small ache becomes a catastrophe in your mind. A new symptom feels like a final sentence. One hard day makes you want to throw away every bit of progress. Your thoughts race. What if it never gets better? What if this is my whole life? What's the point of trying anymore? You don't mean to spiral, but it happens fast. One memory of a doctor's word, one flash of fear, one wave of fatigue, and suddenly your mind is building worst-case scenarios like a tower around you. Your body feels heavier, your chest tightens, your breathing goes shallow, the room feels smaller. You feel like you're standing on the edge of something dark, something dangerous, something you don't even want to name out loud. Right there, in that exact place, heaven steps in. This is where God's voice cuts through the storm in your head and says with fire and tenderness, don't do it, no matter the price. Don't quit on your story. Don't agree with the lie that your life is over. Don't surrender your future to one painful chapter. Don't let despair write the ending that God never authored. The very fact that you are hearing these words right now is proof that this is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. You have had moments where the darkness seemed to make more sense than the light. Moments where lying down and giving up felt easier than standing up and believing again. People around you may have no idea how close you have come to shutting down your heart, your faith, your hope. But heaven knows. God has watched every internal battle. Every time you chose to keep going when no one was cheering, when no one saw the tears that hit your pillow, into that spiral, a different voice speaks. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 8, we are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair. You feel the pressure, you feel the confusion, you feel the questions, but God declares over you, not crushed, not abandoned, not finished, not swallowed by despair. Your thoughts tell you it's over. His word says you are still standing. When your mind says, it will always be like this, heaven answers, no, it will not. When your fear whispers, you are alone in this, God answers, I am with you in every breath. When the enemy hisses, what's the use of fighting? God replies, because your story is not done, and there are chapters of healing and glory you haven't even seen yet. Your spiral often starts with little agreements. You replay the worst things you've heard, chronic, incurable, unlikely to improve. You imagine the most painful future. You see yourself weaker, smaller, broken. But the Spirit of God is interrupting those silent agreements one by one. He is saying, break partnership with the voice of hopelessness. Refuse to let your imagination be used as a weapon against you. Your imagination was given to you to see promise, not just fear. In those late-night moments when your body aches and your mind screams, remember this, you are not standing at the edge of a cliff alone. The hands of God are on your shoulders, steadying you. The angels of God surround you, even when you cannot feel them. Every breath you take is a testimony that darkness did not win the last round. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still chosen. Right now, heaven is inviting you to make a different kind of agreement. Not with fear, not with despair, not with death, not with giving up, but with the voice of God that calls you forward. There is power in what you say, power in what you write, power in what you choose to respond to. Your body may feel weak, but your yes still shakes the spiritual atmosphere around you. So in this moment, as a prophetic act of alignment, I invite you to do something simple but powerful. Go to the comments and write these 3 words, I hear you. When you type that, you are not talking to me. You are answering God. You are saying, Lord, I hear you breaking into my dark thoughts. I hear you telling me not to give up. I hear you calling me back from the edge. Let those 3 words become your turning point, your line in the sand, your declaration that the spiral stops here, You are not hopeless. You are not forgotten. You are not at the end. You are at a turning point, and heaven is pulling you toward life. Chosen one. Now it is time to step into that secret place God has been inviting you to. Not in theory, not as an idea. Right now, in this moment, with the body you have, with the mind you carry, with the emotions swirling inside you. You do not need to be perfect to enter. You do not need to feel holy enough, strong enough, or calm enough. You come as you are, tired, tense, hopeful, and a little afraid. Imagine yourself sitting or lying somewhere safe. Maybe it's your bed, your chair, a quiet corner where you can lean back. Feel the weight of your body being supported. You are allowed to rest here. You are allowed to stop holding yourself up for a moment. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue rest. Notice your breath without judging it. Fast, slow, shallow, heavy. Just notice. This is where God meets you, not where you wish you were. Now, gently, close your eyes. The world on the outside might still be noisy, but with your eyes shut, you step back from all of it. The screens fade, the faces fade, the demands fade. It's just you and God. If your thoughts try to rush around, that's okay. Don't fight them. Just let them pass like cars on a road while you sit on the sidewalk with Him. In your mind, picture a door in front of you. It is simple, but strong. On the other side is the secret place, a room where only you and God are allowed. No shame enters here. No accusation enters here. No diagnosis has authority here. This room is not imaginary. It is a spiritual reality. A meeting place between heaven and your heart. You stand before the door, and you feel God's hand on your back, gently guiding you forward. You are not forcing your way in. You are invited. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Psalms. Chapter 91, verse 1. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This shelter is not far away. It is opening to you now. The secret place is the shelter. Rest is the shadow. You are stepping into that shelter as you breathe, as you sit, as you allow God to draw near. See yourself reaching for the handle. It is warm, not cold. You turn it slowly, and the door opens without resistance. You walk into a room filled with a soft, gentle light. Not harsh, not blinding, just enough to see that everything here is peaceful. There is a place prepared for you, a chair or a bed. And when you sit or lie down, it fits you perfectly. No pressure points, no strain, no awkwardness. You are held. In this room, there is no rush. Time seems to slow down. The tension in your chest begins to soften. Your breathing finds a steady rhythm. You feel the air on your skin, cool and calm, as if the room itself is breathing with you. You are not performing for God here. You are not trying to impress Him with fancy words or perfect faith. You are simply being with Him. In the secret place, God moves closer. You may not see Him with your physical eyes, but you sense Him, a warmth near your heart, a weightless heaviness resting on your shoulders, a quiet voice that doesn't shout but still feels louder than your fear. He is not standing far away, examining your flaws. He is right beside you, closer than anyone has ever been. He looks at your body with tenderness, not frustration. He knows every cell, every nerve, every scar, every tight muscle. He sees the places where pain has camped out. He sees where years of stress have knotted themselves into your neck, your back, your stomach. And he is not intimidated in this 5-minute meeting. He is not rushing to demand anything from you. He is here to give, to pour, to mend. If your thoughts wander, gently bring them back to this room, back to the secret place, back to the one who sits with you. You can silently tell him where it hurts. You can quietly confess, Lord, I'm scared, or I'm tired, or I don't know how to trust you with my body. He is not surprised. He does not pull away. His presence wraps around you like a blanket, like a shield, like a deep exhale after holding your breath for too long. As you remain here, even for these few minutes, healing has already begun. Maybe not with fireworks or instant sensations, but with something deeper, a reordering of chaos, a calming of storms, a softening of fear's grip. You are dwelling, even briefly, in the shelter of the Most High, and in His shadow, your body and spirit finally start to rest. Chosen one, stay in that secret place a little longer, with your eyes closed, with your body resting. Something begins to shift. You are no longer just thinking about God in theory. You are letting Him come near in a way that touches bone, tissue, nerves, and blood. This is where your story moves from "I heard about healing" to "I encountered the healer" in this holy quiet. Imagine Jesus stepping into the room of your inner world, not a distant, glowing figure too holy to touch you, but a kind, present Savior who knows what it is to live inside a human body. He knows what it is to be tired, to be pressed, to feel pain. He does not stand far away and speak at you. He comes close enough for you to sense the nearness of His presence. See Him looking at you with eyes that hold no disgust, no impatience, no disappointment. He sees how your body has been treated like an enemy, how you have grown frustrated with it, how you have felt betrayed by it. But He looks at you as a whole, spirit, soul, and body. And His expression says, "I understand, and I have come to touch what others cannot reach." He moves first toward the places that have hurt the longest. Maybe it is your back, your joints, your chest, your head, your stomach. Maybe it is a part of your body you rarely think about, but that silently carries strain. Wherever it is, picture His hand resting there, not pressing, not forcing, but laying gentle, warm, and steady. The warmth sinks past skin level, past the surface, into muscles, into nerves, into bones. Feel, in your imagination, His hand resting on your spine, this column that holds you up, that has borne the weight of stress and worry, is suddenly under His touch, vertebra by vertebra. He knows each one. He knows where it is out of alignment, where tension lives, where pain hides. His hand does what no human hand could ever do. It speaks to the structure of your being, inviting it back into order. Then see His hand over your chest, your heart that has raced, stopped, stuttered in anxiety or fear, your lungs that have struggled to take deep, easy breaths under his hand. They begin to calm. Right in the middle of this tender encounter, a truth rises like a banner over your body. The ancient words recorded in the first letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 24. He himself bore our sins in his body on the tree, that we, having died to sins, might live for righteousness. By his wounds you were healed. Let this settle into you. He carried it in his body so healing could flow into yours. His wounds are not just symbols, they are the doorway for your restoration. Let your awareness travel with him now to your nervous system, that invisible network of electricity and signal, constantly firing, constantly responding, often overreacting when life has been too much. He places his hand at the base of your skull, over the back of your neck, and you sense his authority over your nerves, where they have been locked in fight, flight, or freeze. His peace begins to speak a new instruction: be still. You are safe. You are held. Then think of your blood, circulating quietly, carrying oxygen, nutrients, and life itself through every organ and limb. Every second, your blood flows without your permission, without your awareness. See Jesus placing his hand over the crook of your arm, your wrist, or simply hovering over your whole body. And understand this: he is Lord over your blood too. Any imbalance, any hidden issue, any inherited weakness is not hidden from him. He knows the stories written into your cells, and he alone has the authority to rewrite them. This is not fantasy. This is engagement. When you let yourself see his hand on your pain, you are agreeing with what heaven says is real, that Jesus is not just a distant savior of souls, but a present healer of bodies. Your nerves may still buzz. Your muscles may still ache. But something deeper is happening as you yield your body to his touch. In this moment, even if you do not feel a dramatic shift, whisper in your heart, Jesus, I welcome your hand on my body. Touch what I cannot fix. Reach what doctors cannot reach. Restore what life has worn down. Your willingness opens space for his power to move. Your surrender relaxes the places that have been clenched for years, and healing can flow into the cracks where you once only felt pain. If this picture of his hand on you is stirring faith and quiet strength inside, let it continue to work in you. And if it has blessed you, consider liking this message, sharing it with someone who longs for healing, and subscribing so you can keep walking this journey of restoration with others who believe that God is still touching real bodies, just like yours, not as a transaction, but as a way of saying, I'm staying connected to what God is doing in me. Chosen one, there is a deeper layer to your healing that goes beyond symptoms and sensations. It lives in the words you have silently agreed with, in the labels you have worn like heavy clothing, in the diagnoses that have climbed from the paper into your identity. For so long, you have not just said, I have this, but somewhere inside, you began to say, I am this. You didn't mean to. It happened slowly. A doctor spoke a name over your condition. A report declared something chronic, lifelong, degenerative. People around you started describing you with that word. Oh, that's the one with... And they filled in the blank with a diagnosis instead of your destiny. After hearing it enough times, you started repeating it yourself. You introduced yourself to others, and somewhere in your story, That label slipped in, like it owned you. You have also made quiet inner vows. This is just my life now. I'll always be the sick one. I'm the weak one. My body always betrays me. These sentences might feel harmless, but they act like spiritual contracts. Every time you repeat them, you are signing your name again at the bottom of a lie. The enemy loves those contracts because they keep you locked in a role that is smaller than what God has spoken over you. Your nervous system has memorized these agreements. Your body reacts not only to medical reality, but to the identity you've worn. When you expect to be the one who always crashes, always breaks down, always needs to be rescued, your body follows that script. But God is stepping into this script right now as the author who says, "This is not the only way your story can go." Heaven is not denying the reality of what you've been through. God is not pretending your symptoms don't exist. He sees every flare-up, every crisis. Every day you had to lie down when you wanted to run, but He refuses to let what you are going through become who you are. Your identity is not sick, broken, or ruined. You are chosen, set apart, beloved, carried, restored in process. The Spirit spoke through the apostle in a way that cuts straight through fear and false identity. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Fear is a spirit that tries to attach to your story. Power, love, and a sound mind are the atmosphere God has actually placed inside of you. That spirit of fear has whispered in the night, "What if it gets worse? What if you lose everything? What if your body fails at the worst possible moment?" It has pushed you to live like a prisoner inside your own skin, always anticipating the next collapse. But power speaks differently. Love speaks differently. A sound mind speaks differently. They don't deny reality, but they refuse to bow to it as ultimate. Breaking agreement with sickness and fear doesn't mean pretending you never struggle. It means you stop letting those things name you. You recognize, "I may be walking through this diagnosis, but it is not my identity. I may be facing symptoms, but I am not married to them. I may feel fear, but I refuse to receive fear as my master." Right now, in this moment, you can begin to renounce those inner contracts. You can say, out loud or in your heart, "I break agreement with the belief that I am permanently sick. I break agreement with the idea that my body is my enemy. I break agreement with every word spoken over me that did not come from the mouth of God." As you say these things, heaven hears you. Those false names begin to lose their grip. Your body has heard you curse it, despise it, apologize for it. Today your body needs to hear you bless it, forgive it, and welcome God's presence into it. You can whisper, "Lord, I bless the body you gave me. I forgive it for not working the way I expected. I invite your healing into every system, every cell, every memory held in my muscles and bones." This is the language of someone who is stepping out of partnership with fear and sickness and into partnership with the healer. To seal this moment, to mark it in the unseen realm, I want to invite you into a simple prophetic act. Go to the comments and write this number 555. Let it be your way of saying, "I am breaking my old agreements. I am stepping into grace upon grace. I am declaring that my identity is not my diagnosis. When you type 555, see it as a signature on a new contract, not with illness, but with the God who calls you healed, whole, and His. You are not what was spoken over you in fear. You are who He says you are, even as your body is still catching up. Chosen one. There is a story written in your body, not just in your thoughts, not just in your memories, but in your cells, your muscles, your posture, your breathing. Your body has learned things from every season you've walked through. It has learned how to brace for impact. It has learned how to hold its breath when it expects bad news. It has learned how to shrink, tense, and guard itself from pain. Every trauma left a mark, not always a scar you can see, but an imprint in the way your shoulders sit, the way your jaw clenches, the way your stomach knots when certain memories rise. Every moment of shame layered itself like a weight on your chest. Every season of stress wore grooves into your nervous system, training it to stay on alert even when the danger passed. You may not remember every detail with your mind, but your body remembers. The argument you tried to forget, the betrayal you never fully processed, the seasons where you carried the weight of everyone else's problems. Your cells have carried those stories like underlined sentences in a book that never closes. When you suddenly feel tired for no reason, when you get a headache at the mention of a name, when anxiety surges even though the room is calm, it is often your body reacting to stories it has stored away. But hear this, your body is not doomed to stay trapped in those stories. God does not look at you and say, "You are too damaged, too imprinted, too far gone." He is the author who can rewrite even what has been written deep into your physical being. He does not just heal your mind in theory. He moves through layers of memory and tension all the way down to the cellular level. Imagine, with your eyes closed, that your entire being is a book laid open before God. Every page is a year of your life. Some are filled with bright colors and laughter, others are stained with tears, scribbled with fear and pain. There are pages where your body first began to tense, where your heart started racing, where you learned to expect rejection or danger. God gently places His hand on those chapters and does not flinch. He reads what you've been through and says, "I am not ashamed of you, and I am not finished rewriting this." The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." The patterns of this world are stress, fear, survival, constant alertness. They have shaped your body, but transformation begins as God renews your mind. And from there, the new pattern can flow into your nervous system, your hormones, your muscles, your breath. As your mind begins to agree with truth instead of lies, your brain starts to send different signals. Where it once shouted, "Danger, brace yourself," it starts to say, "You are safe, you are held." Where it once scanned the room for threats, it starts to notice peace. Where it once dragged your body back into old memories, it begins to let those memories fade and be healed. In your spirit, watch as God walks through the rooms of your inner world. He finds the tight places, shoulders drawn up, fists clenched, stomach twisted, and He speaks, "You can release now." Tension does not drop all at once, but like ice under a warm sun, it begins to soften. Your cells, which have been bathed in stress chemicals for years, Start to respond to a different environment, one filled with His peace. See Him rewriting the messages written into your body. Where shame once wrote, "You are not worthy of care," He writes, "You are worth my touch." Where fear once wrote, "Danger is everywhere," He writes, "I am your shield." Where exhaustion once wrote, "You will never recover," He writes, "I am your strength." These new sentences do not just live in your mind, they begin to echo in your posture, your breathing, your heartbeat. You may still feel old reactions rise. A sound, a smell, a phrase might trigger the same old tightening. That does not mean you are failing. It means there are still pages being rewritten. When you feel that response, instead of judging yourself, you can quietly say, "Lord, come into this story too. Rewrite this page. Speak your truth into this memory." Each time you do, you invite Him deeper into the places your body has guarded for years. Slowly, your body learns a new way. It learns what it feels like to sit without bracing, to breathe without rushing, to sleep without hovering on the edge of panic. It learns how to live not as a battlefield, but as a temple, a dwelling place of the Holy Spirit. You are not bound to the old narratives written in pain and fear. With every moment, you surrender to His presence. God is rewriting the story on your cells, from chaos to order, from tension to rest, from survival to divine alignment. Your body is allowed to become a testimony of what happens when heaven's truth touches earth's wounds. Chosen one, the night has not always been kind to you. When the world gets quiet and the lights go off, your body often refuses to rest. You know what it is to lie in bed and feel your heart suddenly speed up for no clear reason. You know what it is for your thoughts to grow louder in the dark, whispering fears of what might happen, what could go wrong, what your body might do while no one is watching. There have been nights when pain increases the moment you try to sleep. The ache that was bearable in the daytime becomes sharp when you lie down. The room looks peaceful, but your body is anything but calm. Your nervous system seems to wake up when everyone else is shutting down. You toss, you turn, you adjust the pillow and the blanket, but rest feels far away. You have felt strange pressures in the night, heaviness on your chest, tightness in your throat, a feeling like something is watching or pressing in. You may have had nightmares that feel too vivid, too targeted, leaving you shaken and exhausted the next morning. Sometimes you wake up feeling more tired than when you went to bed, as if you fought battles in your sleep that you don't fully remember. Heaven has never been ignorant of your nights. God has seen every hour you stayed awake, staring at the dim ceiling. He has watched you check the time. 2:11, 3:27, 4:02. Praying you might just drift off. He has heard you whisper, "Lord, please, I just want to sleep. I just want my body to rest." Those quiet pleas have not vanished into the dark. They have risen like incense before Him. What you have often felt but not seen is that your bed is not just a mattress in a room, it is a battlefield and a sanctuary at the same time. The enemy has tried to use night hours to torment you, to amplify pain, to magnify fear, to harass your nervous system, hoping that exhaustion will weaken your faith. But God is responding by reinforcing your nights with His own presence and His own army. With your eyes closed, picture your room now from heaven's perspective. See the walls, the windows, the door, the corners. In your imagination, do not focus on shadows, but on light. At the doorway, see a tall angel standing, radiant and strong, a guardian who allows no unclean assignment to pass through. By the window, another watches, a sentinel against every spirit of fear that tries to ride on the darkness. In each corner of the room, angels stand, not as decoration, but as warriors on post. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 34, verse 7, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." That word, encamps, is not casual. It means to pitch a camp, to surround, to stay. You are not visited temporarily, you are encircled. Your bed is not exposed, it is within the encampment of the Lord. See now, in your spirit, that your bed is at the center of that encampment. The angels are not distant, they are near. One stands at your head, watching over your thoughts, guarding your mind as you drift toward sleep. Another stands at your feet, declaring that no snare, no trap, no plan formed against your body in the night will succeed. Around you, the atmosphere is not empty. It is thick with the presence of God. When the enemy tries to bring a nightmare, he finds a wall of fire instead. When fear tries to whisper, it is drowned out by the quiet songs of heaven over your life. When pain tries to intensify just to wear you down, the healing presence of God begins to press gently against it. Like a hand calming a storm, your body is allowed to rest because your spirit knows you are guarded. You may still wake up sometimes, but now you do so in awareness that you are not alone. Instead of immediately agreeing with fear, you can remember, there is an encampment around me. Instead of replaying worst-case scenarios, you can breathe and say, "Lord, thank you that your angels watch over me. Thank you that this bed is under your protection." This is not pretend comfort, it is alignment with what he has spoken. Little by little, as this truth settles into you, your nervous system begins to trust the night again. Your body learns that lying down does not automatically mean danger or torment. Muscles begin to release their constant guard. Your heart slows more easily. Your breath deepens. Sleep, which once felt like a vulnerable, scary place, becomes a gift, a space where God sings over you while you rest inside his encampment. You are not abandoned in the dark. Around your bed, around your room, around your very body, heaven has drawn a line and stationed its warriors. You are guarded, chosen one, even while you sleep. Chosen one. There is a voice that has been following you for years. Not the voice of God, not even the voice of other people, but a sharp, inward whisper that always seems to appear when hope begins to rise. Every time you hear a testimony of healing, every time someone shares a miracle, every time you start to believe that God could touch your body, that voice slips in and says the same quiet sentence, "Not you." You hear about others who were restored, and something inside you celebrates for them, but then, almost immediately, disappointment wraps around your heart. Of course, God did it for them. You think, they're stronger, they're holier, they have more faith. They didn't mess up like I did. They have people praying for them. They're special. The conclusion comes like a punchline you hate but still expect, but not me, not my body, not my story. Over time, that not you voice has become familiar, almost comfortable in a twisted way. It's the voice that tries to protect you from disappointment by talking you out of hope. It says, if you don't expect anything, you won't get hurt. It tells you to clap for others, but never reach out your own hand. It teaches you to stay on the sidelines of healing, watching but not stepping forward. But that voice is a liar. It does not come from heaven. It was born in old wounds, in unanswered prayers, in moments when people failed you, in times when your body did not respond the way you wanted. It sounds logical, but it is actually chained to unbelief and shame. It wants you to believe that you are the one exception to the goodness of God. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 5, verse 34, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." He spoke that to a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years, who was considered unclean, who had spent everything she had, who had more reasons than most to believe. Not me. Not after this long, not with my history. Yet heaven singled her out in the crowd and called her daughter. Not exception, not problem, not too late. That same Jesus is looking at you now, not as a background character in someone else's miracle, but as his beloved. He does not see you as the one he skipped over. He sees you as the one he is moving toward. Your years of pain do not disqualify you. They draw his compassion. Your doubts do not make him walk away. They make him want to prove his faithfulness even more. Think about how many times you have quietly said in your heart, "I guess it's just not for me." Those words sink into your bones. They train your body to expect more of the same. But today, the Spirit of God is confronting that sentence and tearing it up. Heaven is saying, stop writing yourself out of my promises. Stop placing yourself outside of my reach. You are not the one I will leave unhealed. You are the one I am calling by name. When you hear about healing, your first instinct has been to duck your head and say, "That's nice for them, but what if?" Instead, you began to answer that old voice when it whispers, "Not you." You respond, "Why not me? I am his. I am loved. I am seen. I am not outside his mercy." Each time you answer back, that inner critic shrinks a little more. This is where your agreement matters. Heaven is ready, but your heart has to unlock the door that not you has kept bolted. To mark this shift, I want to invite you into a simple but powerful response. Go to the comments and write these 3 words, "Healing is mine," not as wishful thinking, but as a declaration that you refuse to live as the exception any longer. When you type "Healing is mine," you are not demanding from God. You are agreeing with him. You are saying, "Lord, I choose to stand under what you have already promised. I choose to believe that your hand can reach even me. I choose to silence the voice that has said, 'I'm the one you won't touch.'" Let that short sentence become a seed in your spirit, planted where not you once lived. You are not the one left out. You are not standing outside the circle of God's kindness. You are in the center of his attention, even now. And the voice that once shouted, "Not you," is losing its power with every moment you dare to believe. Yes, even me. Chosen one. Something is already shifting. Even if your body still feels heavy, even if some symptoms still speak loudly, in the spirit you have begun to stand up. Healing is not only an instant moment, often it is a season. a path. A series of small steps where you and God walk together out of the sick room and into a new chapter. For a long time, your world may have shrunk to the size of your pain. Your calendar revolved around appointments, medicines, flare-ups, and recovery days. You learned how to make yourself small so you wouldn't disappoint people. You cancelled plans, turned down invitations, and quietly watched life move on without you. It felt like you were living in a room with no windows, always waiting to see if your body would cooperate or collapse. But in this season, God is not only touching your body in the secret place, He is also gently taking you by the hand and leading you toward the door of that room. He does not yank you out or shame you for how long you've been there. He simply says, "It's time, one step at a time. We are walking out together." Close your eyes and see that room now, the sick room season of your life. You can see the bed, the chair, the medicines, the memories of nights you cried and days you could barely move. Now see Jesus standing at the doorway, light spilling in behind Him. He is not impatient. He is not rolling His eyes. He simply extends His hand toward you. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verse 8, "Then Jesus said to him, 'Get up, pick up your mat, and walk.'" He spoke that to a man who had been lying by a pool for 38 years, waiting, stuck, watching others step into their miracle. Yet in one moment, with one sentence, Jesus called him out of the place that had defined him for decades. You may not have spent 38 years in a physical sickbed, but your heart knows what it feels like to wait and watch, to see others move forward while you feel stuck in the same cycle. Now that same voice is calling you, not harshly, but firmly, "Get up." Not in your own strength, but in mine. Pick up the mat of your old identity. Walk into your next chapter. Walking out of the sick room season does not mean pretending you never hurt. It means you begin to live like someone who is being healed. It may start with tiny acts: opening the curtains in the morning, stepping outside for 2 extra minutes of fresh air, stretching gently, drinking water like you are caring for a loved one instead of punishing an enemy. These are not small things, they are prophetic actions where your behavior starts to agree with what God is doing in you. You might still have days when you need to lie down, when your body whispers, "Not yet." That does not erase the progress. That does not mean you are back at zero. Healing often moves in waves, not straight lines. On the stronger days, you take a few steps forward. On the harder days, you rest in God without calling yourself a failure. Both are part of your journey out of the old season. As you walk this out, you will notice subtle shifts. Maybe you can stand a little longer than before. Maybe your sleep is slightly deeper. Maybe your fear level is lower, even if the pain hasn't fully left. These are signs that the sick room is losing its hold. Your world is widening. Your spirit is breathing. Your body is beginning to trust that it is no longer alone in carrying everything. And as you take these steps, you are not just leaving something, you are entering something. You are stepping into a season where your testimony will not be, "I was strong enough, but God walked me out." Even your pace becomes worship. Every small act of courage, every attempt at movement, every choice to hope again says, "Lord, I believe you are still with me. I believe this is not the end." If this resonates in your spirit, I want to gently encourage you, stay close to this kind of atmosphere. Let messages like this remind you of what God has spoken when your feelings are loud. If it has encouraged you, consider liking this message, sharing it with someone else who is ready to walk out of their sick room season, and subscribing so you can keep journeying with a community that believes you are not stuck. You are in motion with God. You are not confined to that room anymore. Chosen one, with every yes you give him, you and Jesus are walking out together. Chosen one, you may not realize it yet, but something has already begun to change. You keep looking at your body, checking for big, dramatic transformation, pain gone in an instant, strength suddenly surging back. And because you don't always see that right away, you're tempted to think nothing is happening. But heaven often starts healing in places you don't think to measure first. Healing rarely begins with the loudest symptom. It often starts in the deepest place, where your spirit meets God, where your mind begins to agree with truth, where your heart loosens its grip on fear. The surface may look the same for a little while, but beneath it, foundations are being repaired, roots are being watered, and chains are quietly breaking. Think about the way your thoughts have started to shift. Once, every new sensation in your body triggered immediate panic. A twinge meant disaster. A strange feeling meant the worst-case scenario. But lately, even if fear still knocks, there are moments where you answer differently. You pause. You breathe. You remember what God has spoken over you. Maybe the fear doesn't vanish, but it doesn't own you in the same way. That is not nothing. That is a sign. Notice, too, the way your heart has begun to find small pockets of rest. There were days when you woke up already defeated, heavy before your feet even touched the floor. Now, even on hard mornings, there are flashes of quiet strength, a sense that somehow you are held. You may not dance out of bed, but you no longer wake up under the same thick cloud of dread. Something is different, even if it's subtle. We find in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 7, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Peace that makes no sense to your situation is one of the clearest early signs that God is healing you. Before your body fully reflects it, your heart and mind start to experience it. Look at your sleep. Maybe you still have rough nights, but are there a few where you drift off a little easier than before? A few mornings where you wake up and realize, I didn't battle as hard last night. That is not random. That is evidence of angels encamping, of God calming the storms that once raged non-stop in your nervous system. Pay attention to your cravings and habits. Where you once reached automatically for numbing, endless scrolling, unhealthy food, constant distraction, you may find yourself, even occasionally, choosing differently, drinking more water, taking a quiet moment to breathe with God, putting your phone down sooner. These are simple acts, but they are signs that your body is slowly moving from survival mode toward cooperation with healing. Notice the way your language is changing. You catch yourself before you say, I'll always be this way. You correct yourself from I am sick to I'm walking through sickness, but God is healing me. Those word shifts are not just semantics, they are spiritual recalibrations. Your tongue is aligning with heaven instead of despair, and your body is listening. Think about your relationships. Pain often isolates, making you pull back, shut down, and feel like a burden. But recently, there may be moments when you feel a fresh desire to connect, to share, to let someone in again. Maybe you reached out to a friend, answered a message you would have ignored before, or allowed someone to pray for you. These are signs of life. Isolation is being challenged. Hope is drawing you back into community. Even your tears can be a sign of healing. The tears you cry now are not always from hopelessness. Sometimes they're from feeling seen, feeling touched by God, feeling something soften inside that had been hard for too long. When your heart starts to feel again, not just pain, but comfort, that sensitivity is a marker that the numbness of long-term suffering is breaking. Your body, too, will begin to show small changes. Maybe the pain is just a little less intense on certain days. Maybe your recovery after activity is slightly quicker. Maybe a part of you that always felt tight now has moments of ease. Don't rush past these. Don't dismiss them as just a good day. Give God credit for the small shifts, and you will see them multiply. Gratitude is like water on the seeds of healing. Healing is not only measured by test results and pain levels, it's also measured by how much fear has lost its grip, how much hope has returned to your voice, how willing you are to envision a future where you are not defined by illness. These are not side notes, they are central indicators that the healer is at work. So, when you wonder, has anything really changed? Take a breath and look again. Look at your peace. Look at your thoughts. Look at your choices, your sleep, your words, your connections. These quiet signs are heaven's way of whispering, yes, beloved, healing has already begun. Chosen one. Something beautiful happens in the journey of healing that many people overlook. At first, you come to God as a patient, hurting, weak, desperate, needing help. You lie on the table of His mercy and say, Lord, please fix me. Please touch my body. Please make this stop. And He listens. He comforts. He begins restoring. But as He works in you, He also begins to whisper something deeper. You are not only a patient, you are a carrier. You were never meant to live your whole life as the one who is always broken, always needing rescue, always on the receiving end. God loves to rescue you, but He also loves to raise you up. He sees you as someone who will one day stand beside others in their pain, hold their hands, and release the same comfort and healing that you once cried out for. Your story is not just about getting better, it's about becoming a vessel. Think about how your perspective has already started to shift. When you see someone limping, exhausted, anxious, or sick, you no longer just feel pity, you feel a pull. Something in your spirit says, I understand that. I've been there. I know what those eyes feel like. Your own suffering has made you tender. You do not judge quickly. You recognize the silent battles in others, because you have fought them too. This is not weakness, it is training. You have been in a classroom that no one signs up for willingly, the classroom of pain, limitation, and long waiting. But in that place, God has been teaching you His heart. You have learned how to cling to Him when nothing makes sense. You have learned how to feel compassion instead of irritation. You have learned how to sit with the hurting without needing to fix them with shallow words. According to what is revealed in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 8, heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons, Freely you have received, freely give. Jesus spoke that not just to a select group of spiritual elites, but as a pattern for those who follow him. You are part of that lineage. You are not excluded because you have struggled. You are actually more qualified to carry his compassion because you know what pain feels like from the inside. As God continues to heal you, whether suddenly or slowly, he is also placing something precious in your hands: authority. Authority to pray for the sick, not from theory, but from testimony. Authority to speak peace over anxious hearts, because you know the taste of panic and the relief of his presence. Authority to look into the eyes of someone who wants to give up and say, "I've been where you are. Don't stop here. There is more." You might think, how can I carry healing when I'm not fully healed yet? But remember this, carriers are not perfect. They are available. Even while you are in process, you can release what God has already given you. If he has given you a moment of peace in the night, you can pray that peace over someone else. If he has given you strength to get through a hard day, you can bless someone else with that same strength. Your overflow doesn't start when everything is finished. It starts as soon as something of him has taken root in you. See yourself now, not lying alone in a bed, but standing with a light in your hands. That light is what God has done in you. Every whispered prayer answered, every fear calmed, every night he held you, every verse that became alive in your body. You carry that light into hospital rooms, into conversations, into late-night messages, into quiet prayers whispered over people who don't even know you are interceding for them. You begin to move from "why me" to "use me", from "I'm cursed" to "I'm trusted with this story", from "I'm just trying to survive" to "I want my survival to become someone else's breakthrough". This doesn't mean you minimize your struggle. It means you allow God to turn your pain into oil, oil of comfort, oil of intercession, oil of faith. Right now, heaven is inviting you to agree with this shift in identity. Not just healed, but a healer in his hands. Not just rescued, but a rescuer by his Spirit. To mark this in the unseen realm, I want to invite you into a simple prophetic act. Go to the comments and write this number, 333. Let 333 be your declaration. I agree with Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I say yes to being a carrier, not just a patient. I choose to let my testimony become someone else's hope. When you type 333, picture yourself taking that light from God's hands and saying, "I will not hide this. I will carry it." You are not only the one lying on the mat anymore. You are rising, chosen one. And as you rise, others will rise with you, chosen one. Healing is not just something you receive, it is something you learn to guard. When God begins to restore your body and your mind, the enemy does not simply shrug and walk away. He looks for cracks, open doors, old patterns he can use to pull you back into the same fear, the same chaos, the same exhaustion. That is why this season is not only about relief, but about wisdom. You are like someone who has just walked out of a storm, soaked but alive. Now standing under a shelter, the rain may still fall around you, but you are not where you used to be. You are under covering now. Guarding your healing means learning how to stay under that covering, not in paranoia, but in awareness. It means recognizing which voices, habits, and environments pull you back toward the storm, and which ones keep you anchored in peace. Your body has known chaos for a long time. Your nervous system is used to constant alerts. Your mind to racing thoughts. Your emotions to constant threat. As God brings order, you must be careful which atmosphere you allow yourself to live in. The shows you watch, the accounts you follow, the conversations you sit in, the music you feed your soul. All of these either agree with peace or with fear. There are places you used to go because you were lonely, bored, or numb, online and in real life, that constantly stirred anxiety, comparison, or darkness inside of you. Now, with healing taking root, those same places can become doors that leak your peace away. Guarding your healing means being willing to say, I can't sit in that anymore. I can't binge that anymore. I can't keep letting my mind feast on what makes my body panic. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Your heart is the control center. Your body listens to your heart's atmosphere. When your heart is filled with constant fear, your body lives braced. When your heart is guarded in peace, your body can finally begin to rest and repair. Guarding your heart does not mean building stone walls and pushing everyone away. It means being intentional about what you allow to sit in the center of your attention. It means catching thoughts that say, you're going backwards, you're getting worse, nothing really changed, and answering them with what God has already spoken over you. It means noticing when an old narrative tries to replay and saying, no, that's not the story I'm living under anymore. Worship becomes one of your greatest weapons in this season. Not just songs on a playlist, but the posture of turning your focus back to God when your mind starts to spiral. When anxiety knocks, you can choose to lift a simple song, even a few lines, and let them fill the room. Your body has listened to the voice of fear for years. Now let it listen to your voice praising the one who heals you. Scripture, too, becomes medicine, not as a duty, but as daily nourishment. You may not read chapters at a time, sometimes one verse, held and repeated, is enough. When symptoms try to shout louder than truth, you return to what God has promised. You let His word be the last word in your mind before you sleep, and the first when you wake. Over time, this reprograms the inner atmosphere you carry. Boundaries will be part of guarding your healing. There may be people who constantly drain you, conversations that always leave you tense, expectations that push your body past its limits again and again. In the past, you may have felt guilty for saying no, for stepping back, for resting when you needed to. But in this season, wisdom sounds like, I love you, but I can't do that right now. I am protecting what God is doing in me. That is not selfish, it is stewardship. You may also notice that certain habits are no longer compatible with the peace you've received. Staying up too late, scrolling through fear-filled content, skipping food, neglecting water, pushing through when your body is begging for a pause. These patterns once felt normal, but now they feel expensive. Guarding your healing means learning to treat your body as a partner, not a slave. You listen when it speaks. You honor the signals instead of silencing them. Community matters too. You need voices around you who remind you what God has said when you forget. People who will pray for you, speak life over you, and refuse to let you slip quietly back into despair. Guarding your healing means choosing to stay connected. Even when you feel tempted to isolate again, you are not fragile china that might shatter at any moment. You are a temple under renovation. And every wise choice, every boundary, every moment of worship and word is another beam of strength being added. Guard your heart. Chosen one, guard your peace. Guard your body from what once broke it. What God is building in you is worth protecting. Chosen one. Let's talk about the moments that scare you the most. The days when, after all the prayers, all the tears, all the progress, the symptoms suddenly flare again. The pain spikes, the fatigue slams you, the dizziness returns, the tightness in your chest or the burning in your nerves feels as intense as it did in the beginning. And almost instantly, a thought rises like a scream. See, nothing really changed. I'm right back where I started. Those are the moments that try to break your heart, not just because your body hurts, but because your hope feels like it's being mocked. You think, what was the point of believing? What was the point of those peaceful days? Was it all in my head? Did I just imagine that God was doing something? The discouragement can feel heavier than the symptom itself. This is where many people quietly give up. Not with a dramatic announcement, but with a slow, silent agreement. I guess this is just my life. I won't expect anything better anymore. But you, chosen one, are being taught a different way. You are learning that a flare-up is not a verdict. It is a battle. And battles do not erase victories. They test them. You must understand this healing is often contested. The enemy does not like losing territory in your body, your mind, or your spirit. When he sees that peace has begun to grow in you, that your faith is stabilizing, that your identity is shifting, he throws a tantrum. He stirs up old symptoms, old fears, old thoughts to try to convince you that nothing truly changed. But the presence of pressure does not mean the foundation has crumbled. In those moments, your first instinct is to panic. Your mind starts to run. It's back. It's worse. I knew it was too good to be true. Your body tightens, which often makes the symptom feel even more intense. The spiral begins, but you can learn a new first response. Instead of immediately agreeing with fear, you pause, you breathe, you remember. You remember what God has already done, the nights He gave you rest, the days you felt unexpectedly strong, the peace that showed up out of nowhere, the shifts you've already seen in your thoughts and emotions. Those were not accidents. They were not illusions. They were evidence that God's hand is on you. A flare-up does not rewrite that history. The Apostle reminds us in the letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Your doing good is not just acts of kindness. It is choosing to trust, choosing to stand, choosing to keep showing up in faith even when your body screams otherwise. The harvest is not cancelled by a bad day. It is delayed only when we surrender. When symptoms rise, it is okay to feel disappointed. God is not angry at your tears. He is not offended by your honesty. You can say, "Lord, this hurts. I'm scared. I don't like this at all." But after the honesty, there is another step. You choose where to place your agreement. Will you agree with the voice that says, "See, nothing changed," or with the voice that says, "Even now, I am working all things together for your good. Practically, this means slowing everything down. Instead of catastrophizing, you address what's in front of you. My body is flaring. That is real. But it is also true that God is with me right now. It is also true that my progress is not erased. It is also true that my story does not end today. You breathe deeply, reminding your nervous system that it is not alone. You speak softly to your own heart. We have seen God move. We will see him again. Sometimes, in a flare, the most spiritual thing you can do is rest without falling into despair. You might need to lie down, cancel something, or take extra care of yourself. That is not going backwards. It is tending to your temple in the middle of a fight. Soldiers step back to treat wounds and then return to the field. They are not called cowards for that. There may be patterns you begin to notice, certain stresses, environments, or overextensions that tend to trigger your body. Learning from those patterns is wisdom, not fear. You adjust, not because you are fragile, but because you are partnering with healing instead of working against it. Most importantly, you refuse to let a flare-up rewrite who you are. Your identity does not yo-yo with your pain level. On good days and bad days, you are still chosen, still loved, still carried, still in process. A storm around you does not change the anchor beneath you. So when the symptoms roar and your faith feels thin, remember, thin faith is still faith. Shaky faith is still faith. Whispered, "Help me, Lord," is still a prayer that moves heaven. You are not disqualified because you struggle on the hard days. You are being strengthened, trained, and deepened. And even here, especially here, God is holding you steady, chosen one. In all these moments with your eyes closed, in all the nights you have whispered weak prayers and the days you have clung to God with trembling hands, something has been happening in the unseen that you have not fully realized. You are being crowned, not when you finally feel perfect, not when every symptom is gone. Right here, in the middle of the process, heaven is placing a crown on your head. You have walked through fire and did not curse God. You have laid in a bed of pain and still managed to whisper, "Help me, Lord." You have watched others live the life you wished you had, and yet you did not fully turn away. You kept a little corner of your heart open to him. That small, stubborn yes has not gone unnoticed. In the courts of heaven, that kind of faith is royal. Close your eyes again and return to that secret place where you and God meet. See yourself sitting there, shoulders heavy from years of carrying pain, your head bowed from disappointment and exhaustion. You do not feel like royalty. You feel like someone who barely made it in the door. But this is where heaven loves to move most, where you are honest, emptied, and real. In that room, see the King step toward you, not a distant monarch, but your Father and your Savior. He does not come empty-handed. In his hands is a crown, not made of cheap metal or plastic shine, but of glory, of purpose, of identity. It reflects every moment you trusted him in the dark, every tear you sowed in faith, every time you chose not to give up. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 35. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. Your confidence is not in your body's performance, it is in him. And that confidence, even when shaky, is being rewarded now, not only with healing, but with honor. See him gently lifting your chin. Your eyes meet his, and there is no accusation there, only fierce love. He knows exactly what it cost you to stay. He knows how many times you almost walked away, how many nights you thought, I can't do this anymore, yet somehow you woke up and faced another day. He calls that courage. He calls that royalty. Slowly, he places the crown on your head. As it rests there, something shifts inside of you. The heaviness you have worn like a second skin feels different. You are no longer just a victim of circumstances. You are a chosen one, seated with Christ, loved with an everlasting love. Your body may still be catching up, but your identity is already being lifted. Wearing this crown does not mean pretending you never hurt. It means you stop agreeing with the lie that you are worthless because you struggle. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not the leftover case that heaven forgot. You are a beloved child of God, marked, set apart, trusted with a story that will carry healing oil for others. In the days ahead, there will be moments when you forget the crown. Pain will spike. Fear will whisper. Old labels will try to slide back over your mind. In those moments, you must choose to remember what happened in the secret place. You must remind your own heart, I am crowned in Christ. I am not who I was. I am not what I feel. I am who He says I am. And this is where your response matters, not just in your thoughts, but in what you're willing to declare. I want to invite you to mark this crowning moment with a simple confession. Go to the comments and write these 4 words, I accept my crown. When you type, I accept my crown, you are not claiming to be better than anyone. You are not denying your weakness. You are agreeing with heaven's perspective. You are saying, Lord, I receive the identity you are giving me. I choose to see myself as you see me, loved, royal, held, and called, even while my body is still in process. Let those words be like hands reaching up to touch the crown and hold it firmly in place. If this picture of being crowned in the secret place is stirring something deep in you, if you feel seen, strengthened, or realigned, I want to gently encourage you, don't walk this journey alone. Let this message sit with you. Come back to it when you forget who you are. And if it has blessed you, consider liking this video, sharing it with someone who needs to remember their own crown, and subscribing so you can stay connected to a flow of words that keep calling you back to your royal identity in God. Not as a ritual, but as your way of saying, I'm choosing to live like someone He has crowned. You are not just surviving anymore. In the quiet, eyes closed, heart open, you are being crowned, and nothing in hell can erase what heaven places on your head. Chosen one, your healing is not just about comfort. It is about calling. God is not simply trying to make your life a little easier, to reduce your pain so you can go back to normal. There is no going back to normal for you. What He is doing in your body is prophetic. It speaks, it declares, it testifies, even when you say nothing. Your life becomes a message. God still touches people. God still restores. God still walks into impossible stories and rewrites them. For a long time, you may have looked at your body as a problem to fix, a limitation to resent, an obstacle between you and the life you wanted. You have sighed in frustration at its weakness, apologized for its slowness, and felt ashamed when it didn't perform like everyone else's. But heaven looks at the same body and sees a stage for glory, a canvas for mercy, a living altar where God has been meeting you again and again. Every time you chose to seek God in the middle of your pain, you were prophesying without realizing it. You were declaring, even here, God is worthy. Every time you dragged your weary self into another day and whispered, Lord, I trust you, you were speaking into the future of others who will one day stand where you stand now. Your story has never been just about you. The apostle reminds us in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 19, Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? Your body is not a random container or a defective shell. It is a temple, a place where God chooses to dwell. When He heals you, even partially, even gradually, He is cleansing and restoring His temple, not just for your comfort, but so that His presence can be seen and felt through you. Think of what it will mean when people who watched you suffer begin to see you stand a little straighter, breathe a little deeper, smile with genuine peace. They remember the old you, the one weighed down by fatigue, anxiety, and constant worry about your health. They will notice the difference. Even if you say nothing, your calm will preach. Your resilience will preach. Your ability to rest without fear will preach. There will be conversations where you quietly share pieces of your journey. You won't have to exaggerate or impress anyone. You will simply tell the truth. I used to be terrified all the time. I used to think my body was my enemy. I used to believe I was cursed. But God met me. God stayed with me. God began to heal me from the inside out. Those words, coming from someone who has really been there, will carry weight that theory never could. Your body, once a gallery of symptoms, will become a gallery of testimonies. The scars will tell stories. Here is where I thought I wouldn't make it. Here is where God held me. Here is where fear tried to drown me. And here is where peace started to win. People will see you do simple things, walk further than before, laugh more freely, sleep more soundly, and they will sense hope rise in them. If God can do that in them, maybe He can do it in me. Even on days when you still feel the struggle, your choice to keep trusting becomes prophetic. You're showing others how to walk with God in the middle, not just at the end. You are teaching, by your life, that faith is not pretending everything is perfect, but holding His hand when nothing feels certain. There will be places you step into, rooms, families, communities, where your very presence shifts the atmosphere. You carry empathy now. You carry authority born from suffering. You don't offer empty cliches when someone says they are tired or in pain. You look them in the eyes, and your compassion prophesies. You are seen. You are not crazy. God is near. As your body continues to align with what God has spoken, you will begin to dream differently. You will not only dream of being free from pain, you will dream of who you will touch, pray for, comfort, and strengthen because of what you've lived through. Your future will no longer be a blank page filled with fear, but a scroll written with assignments, people to encourage, lives to stand beside, hearts to remind that God still heals. your journey, with all its valleys, has been preparing you to be a walking prophecy, not of perfection, but of perseverance, not of denial, but of deliverance, not of a life without trouble, but of a God who never abandons in the trouble. So, as you look at your body now, with all its history, dare to see it the way heaven does a temple in restoration, a sign to your generation, a living prophecy that whispers to anyone who notices, there is hope for you. 2. Chosen one. Now we step into what comes next. Not just this moment, not just this video, but tomorrow morning, next week, next year, the days ahead of you that once felt covered in fog and fear. For a long time, when you thought about your future, your first instinct was to scan for danger. What if it gets worse? What if I can't handle it? What if my body fails me when I need it most? Your imagination has been rehearsing disaster, not destiny. But God is not only healing your memories and your present, He is speaking straight into your future. He is walking into your tomorrow ahead of you and planting seeds of strength, peace, and restoration in places you haven't reached yet. You will not arrive alone. By the time you get to those days, He will have been there, preparing them. Picture tomorrow morning, you open your eyes. Maybe your body still feels a little heavy. Maybe there is still some ache. But instead of immediately bracing yourself and checking for every symptom, you pause. You put a hand over your heart. You breathe. You remember everything God has been whispering. I am with you. I am healing you. I am in your very cells and your very story. The day hasn't unfolded yet, but you step into it like someone who is not abandoned. According to what is revealed in the third letter of John, chapter 1, verse 2, Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. This is not just a wish, it is a glimpse of God's desire for you. Prosper in all things. Be in health, soul and body aligned in wholeness. That is the direction He is leading you. Even if the road curves and climbs along the way, see your future as a path stretching out before you. In the past, you saw that path littered with hospital rooms, disappointments, and constant setbacks. Now, dare to see it differently. There may still be appointments, checkups, and days when you need extra care. But woven through that path are new scenes, you laughing more freely, walking a bit farther, sleeping more peacefully, praying with greater confidence, standing beside others in their own battles. Your future is not a ticking bomb, it is a field ready for harvest. Every tear you've cried, every night you've endured, every fragile, yes, you've given God, has watered the ground ahead. There are conversations you haven't had yet, where your words will unlock hope in someone else. There are places your feet haven't stepped yet, where your very presence will shift the atmosphere. There are prayers you haven't prayed yet that will change stories, including your own. Will there be challenges? Yes. Jesus never promised a life without storms, but He promised something stronger Himself. You will not face one symptom, one test result, one moment of fatigue alone. The same God who met you in the darkest nights you've already survived will be standing in every tomorrow, ready before you even arrive. Begin to speak differently about what's ahead. Instead of saying, I'm scared of getting worse, begin to say, God is walking me into more. Instead of, my best days are behind me, Dare to whisper, "My deepest days with God are still coming." This is not denial, it is alignment. You are not predicting perfection. You are agreeing that He will be faithful. See yourself months from now, maybe years. You are not the exact same person you are today. You carry more peace in your eyes, more steadiness in your voice, more softness in your body where you used to be all tension. Some symptoms may be completely gone, others may still flicker now and then, but you are not ruled by them. They no longer dictate your worth or erase your joy. You have learned how to live as someone already claimed by healing, even while the full picture is still unfolding. Your future mornings, your ordinary afternoons, your quiet evenings, they are all spaces where God plans to meet you. Not just at conferences, not just in crisis, but in daily life, in the way you get dressed, cook food, walk outside, rest, talk, and laugh. Every ordinary act becomes a quiet testimony. I am still here. God has kept me. God is keeping me. You do not step into tomorrow as a victim of whatever your body decides to do. You step in as a chosen one, accompanied, anointed, and steadily being healed. The road ahead is not empty. It is already soaked in His presence. And as you walk it, step by step, your very life will keep whispering to everyone who watches, there is real hope. There is real healing. There is a real God who does not let go. Beloved chosen one, before you go, pause with me for just a moment. You've walked through a long heart journey in these words, through pain, fear, hope, encounter, and quiet transformation. None of that was an accident. If you've made it this far, it's because something in your spirit refused to give up, refused to scroll away, refused to believe the lie that you were just one more viewer. You are not. You are the reason heaven pressed pause and spoke. As you step back into your day, into your room, into your real life with its real pressures. Remember this, what touched you here doesn't stay here. The peace you felt, the clarity, the sense of being seen that is meant to travel with you. Any sentence that made your chest loosen, any picture that made your eyes well up, those are seeds. Let them sink in. Let them keep working long after the screen turns dark. And if this journey has met you in that deep, quiet place, if somewhere along the way you felt, this is exactly what I needed, I want to gently invite you to respond in a simple, human way. If it resonated, you can like this message, not as a hollow click, but as your little amen, your way of saying, yes, I receive this. If someone you love is battling in their body, or you know a soul who cries silent tears at night, you can share this with them. You never know, these words might be the lifeline they whisper thank you for later. If you want to keep walking in this kind of atmosphere where your pain is not minimized, your calling is not ignored, and your identity as God's chosen one is constantly reminded, you can subscribe. That's just a simple way of staying connected to a stream of encouragement that keeps calling you back to who you really are. And in the comments, if you feel led, you can write a short line about what touched you most, a phrase, a moment, a shift. Your comment isn't just text, it's a stone of remembrance. And it might be the exact confirmation another weary heart needs to see. Whatever you choose to do, know this, you are seen, you are loved, and heaven is not done writing healing into your story.